Yes, I was discussing this with your father.
Oh yeah.
He was telling me a bit about the heritage of your family.
Yeah, we're
is
big into genealogy.
amazing.
So
Yeah.
big into
I
genealogy.
love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Man, you have one of the most beautiful voices. I'm not trying with you.
I appreciate
I'm
it.
totally on the other side. But I mean, it's your voice is unbelievable.
Thank you.
It's ethereal. It's just like every time I listen to it, it's just like.
Can't believe
I would
it.
take that. I would take that compliment.
And we were talking. The other guy was saying that you place your notes like a half tone lower than the should
Yeah.
be.
So with guitar, you can do. There's a million. Probably,
Yeah, you can,
different tunings and that sort of thing. And so for me, I use a different tuning because I play a 12-string guitar, right? So you tune that differently to get kind of a different sound and just to do something unique when you play. You know, you want people to remember stuff, so you try to do things a different way. But the main guitar I play, I tune it just a half step down because if I'm playing for 4 hours, if you tune a half step down, it's just a little bit less stress.
Yeah,
on
of course.
your
Yeah, it's
voice,
more in
'cause
tune with your voice.
Yeah, just a little bit lower without sounding, like a deep, bassy kind of thing.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
just a little bit easier. Working
And I love
smarter.
this. It's very, very professional, very detailed, very.
Yeah, I try to be. I try to be.
You played. I mean, now is 10:45. I mean, we waited for you to finish
Yeah, and
the
I
performance.
appreciate that. Yeah.
I mean, this is the length that we go for you. Okay, I'm not doing because I love it, of course, but I'm doing this for you. So be grateful.
And he's doing it for you as well. It's very
he's doing it for you as well.
I
So
appreciate it. I'll do it. I'll talk to you as long as you want.
yeah, bless you.
Well,
You're very nice.
You are very, very, very
Thank you.
kind.
You come
Thank
across like that straight away. So, where are you from? Tell us a little bit more of your story. Let's start from the past. Which year were you born?
How far you want to go back? All the way back?
Let's get it all.
So 1988, right? So I'm 35.
1988. So you're younger than me.
Yeah.
And then me as well. This
Yeah.
Usually.
So she's
Well, Erica, you're starting to.
She's what, 27?
Thank you. You're very kind.
Yes, and if I'm being honest, she's 21.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. No, I'm from Bristol, Tennessee, right? So so that's about an hour and a half away from here.
Yes.
Yeah, we're familiar. We've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Lovely.
beautiful town, birthplace of country music.
Do you know
that sort of
Karen?
thing. So
Karen. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
Karen, yeah.
Well, yeah, you know
We're
Karen.
from the,
Must be a Karen.
yeah, well, as far as with Bristol, there's music everywhere, right? So
Yeah.
it is the birthplace of country music, but you also have some great blues artists that are there.
Yes.
And for me, in particular, I grew up in church, right?
Whereabouts?
So I grew up in church, like with church
church.
music. Yeah, so church music was a lot about.
Can you give us an example of church music?
So
God is always with you.
yeah, so you'll have two different styles, really. So my grandfather and my dad were missionaries, right? And so in order to raise money for the schools that they would help start and, sending school supplies to Jamaica, Haiti, Africa, they would go to different churches. You would go to some more rural churches that were predominantly white, right?
Yes.
And then those styles of music would be kind of like older hymns, like Amazing Grace and that sort of thing.
Yes.
But then other churches that we went to, we became very good friends with a lot of like black churches where black gospel, which is obviously a very different style. You kind of have those more like
yeah, exactly. I love
it goes like instead
gospel.
of some churches they'll sing it straight. They'll just say Jesus, Jesus, they'll sing it straight. A black gospel church, a black church, they would go Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. They do those little things.
Yeah.
They do those things. And so that was the influence. So you had the best of both worlds, and we got to be such good friends with all of these different people and loving all these different people from different walks of life. And so that kind of influences you. It kind of gets down in your soul a little bit.
Do you know the technical difference between gospel music, the gospel singing, and maybe opera?
It's in a way, it's kind of like when somebody plays the violin, and then the same thing a violin can be, it can also be a fiddle, right? So a fiddle is the same instrument, it's just played very differently, right? So you come from a place like with operatic music, you have a place of extreme power, right? Like Pavarotti and stuff like that,
Yes,
you know?
yes.
So, and you are singing from your chest and that deep kind of thing.
But that's because he was eating a lot.
Right, yeah, well, and he had to have something, you know, he had to have all the, you know, energy, I guess.
He always
know,
needed
so-
a couple of chickens before a performance. you know?
and a good pipe, you know, he always had a pipe tobacco, I think. So, you
You know,
know,
he didn't have water below the,
he
below the
had-
stand.
he
He
had
had
something.
like a leg, a turkey
a
leg.
little bit of inspiration or something, you know, a little bit of like mid song fuel or something like that. But you know, you have these
He had a
deep, like,
blend of-
you have these people singing from their chest, right? That very strong thing. In a way, you know, gospel music is a lot of the same thing. You're singing from your chest, that real like strong kind of stuff. But within church music, you have all these different genres, and that was kind of the cool thing about growing up. How I grew up, growing up around here, you have tons of different influences. You have tons of different bands and people to listen to. And so, you know, that kind of gets in you a little bit. And so you listen to rock and roll, or you listen to gospel, or
Yes.
So did you have
bluegrass or whatever.
were you introduced to this church music by your father, you say?
Yeah, so my mom and dad. So my mom was the piano player, right? So my mom played piano.
So a family of musicians.
Yeah,
so
right,
good.
right. Yeah. And then my dad would sing as well. And so I was just kind of raised up in it.
And you said one day I'll beat you up.
Well, I will say though, my mom tried to teach me piano, and I'm just not a good student for her. So she tried.
Why was she too?
I just
demanding?
no. She was the patience of Job, right? She had great patience. I just was not a good student at the time. So you know, I wanted to learn all these different songs, and you have to have a foundation before you go into something hard, right?
Yes.
So I got impatient. But, but then I found
You
the
wanted to
guitar.
cut it short.
Yeah,
and
I just
you
wanted
kind
it
of tried.
go.
instead of the long journey. I just wanted to make a shortcut
Yes,
and jump straight to it. But then I found the guitar a few years later, and the
Yes.
guitar was the thing,
You
right?
found it on a street.
So there was a guy. He is on this shopping channel called HSN, right? There's a home shopping network. And at the time, he looks like, if you know, oh my gosh, Zorro, right? You remember Zorro, like the movie? He wore this mask and he had a
Zorro.
sword and he went like that,
Yes,
right?
yes, of
All right,
course.
so
Yeah.
so this guy, he kind of looked like that, right? He had the hat and like he, you know, just
And the
looked-
horse?
Yeah, maybe outside the studio. Maybe that's what he wrote home. I don't know. But his name was Esteban, right? And so he played this very like Spanish classical music, flamenco, which is Spanish music as well. But he played that, and so I begged my parents to let me just get a guitar. It was like $100 special, you know, and it came with guitar picks and that sort of thing. And so I asked him, you know, just to buy it for me. I think I was 12 or 13, right?
Very young.
Yeah. And so they took a chance, right, and bought it for me. And just I remember, you know, how it smelled and just what it felt like getting out of the case for the first time. I didn't know anything, but then I started taking guitar lessons, and you know, just kind of was its own journey.
Nice.
So, you know.
Did you? What age did you start doing this professionally? So you grew up basically in Bristol, Georgia.
Right.
Do you live in Bristol Gap now?
No, I live in Bristol, Tennessee. So you know,
still live there?
I still live in Bristol. Yeah, I still live in Bristol. You know, the thing that I always like to think about, there's I think it was Theodore Roosevelt, right? President Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Yes.
He had this saying, and he said that life, I think it's him, to paraphrase him, but that life should be a series of excursions, right? Wild adventures.
A series of?
Do what?
Excursions.
Yeah, excursions. Like wild
Wild
adventures.
adventures.
Yes.
So wild adventures set
Yeah.
forth from a safe location. So for example, Big Stone Gap, Bristol, I can go anywhere in the world, but I can come back home.
Yeah.
And so
Oh, got it. Yes,
that's why I love Bristol. That's why I love Bristol. So I currently live there now. As far as when I started playing professionally, I played and sang, or I primarily played in different bands. I didn't want to sing. I didn't care about singing. I didn't. So I didn't want to do it. But
What happened then?
Well, it's a good story. The girl
We're
I
here
was,
for this.
it's a good story. The girl I was dating.
Don't hold back.
No, the girl I was dating at the time. Right,
Okay.
she's now my wife.
Okay.
she's now my
Can we
wife.
say your name?
Sarah.
Okay, yeah.
So she.
That was a test. If you couldn't say the name.
Love, darling.
No. She said, "You play guitar, really good." We were driving one day, and she said, "You play guitar really good."
Maybe she was trying with you.
But she was like, "But maybe."
Oh, you played very good. Yeah, maybe she didn't hear.
But maybe